All right, welcome to another 5-Minute Friday. In this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can get your foot into the door when it comes to creature design. So I'm going to give you a 5-step process that is going to make it easier for you to understand how you can actually get much easier into creature design with a really straightforward and more analytical approach, because I like the way that I can problem solve more easily if I want to design from imagination. So we're gonna draw sort of a lizard creature, and we're not going to do anything out of the ordinary. We're not going to go wild. Again, these are your first baby steps into creature design. So the first step that we're going to do is we're going to take a reference, and you can take a reference of choosing. And what you're going to do is you're simply going to analyze the simplest forms you can find for this creature. So you're going to trace it. You have my permission to trace it. You can also do it traditionally, of course. And you're just going to literally deconstruct it in the simplest forms that you can find. All right. Now, when you do that, then we're first going to train our spatial awareness. At all times, we want to do this as much as we can just to get a more intuitive sense of drawing. So once we've done this, once we've analyzed the forms, then we're going to draw them in different angles using the forms that we just created from the reference. But now you're going to draw them from imagination in a different angle. You can use sort of this bounding box if you want to get a good understanding of where you want to place the elements. But besides that, you just want to use the simplified forms that you have established. Then what you're going to do is you're now going to analyze parts of the creature with more complicated forms. If you are new to form manipulation, the bread and butter that we teach at Artwod, if you're new to it, you're going to try and keep these complicated forms to a minimum. So what you're going to do is you're simply going to just try and maybe inflate the cylinder a little bit on one side and then sort of deflate it in the middle. And that's all you're going to do. And everything else, you're just going to keep the same and equally rigid. And you're going to maybe curve down that box a little bit like this. But if that's all you can do, then that's all you can do. You don't have to do more. Now, of course, I can take it a step further and I can make it a little bit more complicated, but I'm still, and this is important, I'm still thinking about simple form. For each of these, what I would call distinct features for this particular lizard, because that's essentially what we're going to do, redesign. So I'm trying to just see if I can find those simplified manipulated forms based on the first simple forms that I've established. Again, this is basically the entire Artwod program, is just understanding how to have spatial awareness, how to construct and deconstruct elements that you see on paper so you can reconstruct them in different angles and from imagination, and you can start to stylize them. So once you've done that, so that's step 3, then what you're going to do is you're now going to take those simple forms that you had, and you're just going to draw the initial one that you had in a simplified side view, like this. This is your simplified side view. Now what you're going to do is you're going to exaggerate, so you're just going to create 3, and 3 and only 3. You're going to just create 3 different iterations with the shapes that you've established. So that means is that you're going to just have fun with those shapes. You're no longer going to think about the 3D. You're just going to think about the 2D aspect. How can I push and pull the combination of forms that I have initially? Where can I stretch them, create, inflate them, whatever you want to do with them. You create 3 variations on that concept. So that's step 4. Now that you've done that, you can just go to step 5, which is you're taking your preferred concept that you made, and you're now going to establish the simple forms again that you did in step 2 and step 3. So you're going to now draw from imagination using all of the elements you've already established yourself. And this is the power of drawing from imagination, is that you have simplified a thing from real life into understandable objects that you understand. You're creating your own puzzle pieces. You're not using someone else's puzzle pieces. So you're creating your own. And by creating your own, you create a much better understanding of the concept overall. Once you've done that, you can create a box. And within that box, you're first going to draw those simplified forms in the way that you understand them. So they can be very simple, as you did in step 1, or you can instantly go to more a complex form like what I'm doing in step 5. And this is your creature design. Now, you can give it a bit of color if you want to, but this is essentially your creature design. So you created something completely new from imagination. based on something that existed, but you did it in a very approachable way of understanding the form, deconstructing that form, manipulating that form, reconstructing it, and then being creative with it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of being able to deconstruct and reconstruct. So if you've done these steps successfully, you will end up with a really cool design of your own. I'd love to see it. Like, send me your Instagram links to that creature in the comments if you want to. But this is a really nice process for you to follow, especially if you're a beginner or intermediate that really struggles with drawing from imagination. And I'm definitely going over time, so no plug today. So there you go. You guys win. You get all of the info for free without the plug. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next one.